Bye. Okay, let's start this live webinar. Thank you very much, first of all, for your participation. The today subject is general description of the Aqua map application. We try to touch all the aspects, but obviously it's a big task. So we tried to shrink everything in around 45 minutes. It is a pre-recorded video. Maybe someone of you already have seen it during the AGLCA webinar. At the end of this presentation of this video, we will have around 1 hour question and answer time. So please use the comment below here, the live in Facebook, and write your question. We will try to answer as much as possible during the presentation, just to shrink the time and give you some feedback. And we leave some comment, those more difficult to explain by written, at the end, and showing also with the help of the iPad how to do the things you do not understand well. I hope you will enjoy this video, and if you have any question, write down into the comment list. Thank you. Let's start. Okay.
Let's enter into the details starting from the Aqua map charts. Our nautical charts are covering the most important commercial areas worldwide: North America, Bahamas, Caribbean, Brazil, Argentina, West Europe, Australia, New Zealand, and South Africa. We do not cover only marine areas. In US and Canada, we have over 12,000 lakes with bathymetric information. And to complete the product, we integrate also a full topography, including road network, waterways, in order to have a reference and details of the area you are navigating. We use most detailed nautical charts from the official local hydrographic offices. Both vector and raster were necessary. For example, in US we use NOAA, in Canada we use the Canadian Hydrographic Service, and in Bahamas, where we do not have an hydrographic office available, we use the best available data, that is Explorer chart. We do update all charts once a year, except for NOAA, that is 4 times a year. Nautical charts sometimes alone are not enough, so we integrate on the map the best communities like Active Captain and detailed guides like the Waterway guides. Last but not least, we decided a few months ago to create a new service to overlay the US Army Corps of Engineers surveys to cover the most dangerous waterways. Over 40,000 surveys from the Corps of Engineers are integrated together and provided to the end user with a weekly update. As you open the app, the Planisphère map will be on your screen. Pinch or double tap to zoom in, swipe to pan, like using any digital map today with a smartphone. To get more detail and, most important, to use the charts offline, you have to download them on your device. Press the lower left button. You will enter a grid. The transparent tiles are those you can download. The gray tiles are those not existing. Transparent tile with a padlock are those you are not enabled to download. If you tap on one of them, a pop-up with a list of charts to purchase will open. If you tap on a transparent tile, it will turn blue, then you can press Start to start the downloading. Once the download is completed, you can zoom in the area to see the details. Tap on an object. you will be able to get more detail and the list of the information available.
Use an iPad for the demo, but you have the same behavior on iPhone or any other Android device. Okay, let's start from the button that you get when you enter on the app. From the bottom right, you have the setting page where you have substantially all the setting, all the function available inside the app. Then on the bottom left, you have the button to download the offline charts. You already seen this with Giorgio. Then on the top left, you have the GPS center button. This, as you can see, will immediately center the application on the GPS. Below, you have the start track recording. On the top right, you have the button to search and manipulate all your information. And then here you have the button to quickly zoom in and zoom out from the map. In the middle, you have the distance tool button that you can use to measure distances on the map. You can also use the two-finger gesture to instantly measure distances. Okay, now let's see how you can enter your data inside the app. To enter a marker, you can simply keep pressing the finger and then a marker is inserted. You can then see the info for the marker. You can change the name, the description, the color, whatever you want. You also have the coordinates, and then you can insert a photo for the marker. In the settings, this is a first example of the settings, you can decide if you want to show or not the name of the marker on the map, and then you can also change the size of the marker on the map. Okay, now let's see how you can plan a route inside your map. Let's switch off for the moment the tide and current, we see later. To start to plan a route, you simply press on the map and you select Edit the Route button. Then tapping, you add waypoint. You can change the waypoint position. You can enter a new waypoint where you want, and you can delete a waypoint. When you have done, stop editing and save the changes, and the route is done. We can see the route information, always in the same way. Here you have the detailed information for the route with partial and total information. You also have the time and the fuel consumption. This comes from the MyBot settings, where you can define the average speed and the average fuel consumption of your bot. When you have a route, you can activate it, so you can navigate it. You can activate as you plan it or in reverse way. When you do, then a box appears on the screen giving the information for your next waypoint with distance, heading, and estimated time of arrival. Okay, now the third type of data you can store in your app is the track. So as soon as you have a GPS information, you can start recording the track with this button. The track records all the movement of your GPS. Here below you have a box giving information for the track with distance, average speed, total time. When you want, you can pause the track and the recording stop, or you can simply save the track when you have done, and the track is saved and the information is inside your page here with all your user data. Okay, when you have data, you can share them. So you can select one element and share. This is the button for the sharing. Okay, when you share it, you can select the format, GPX or KMZ, and then you can select where and how to share. Depending on the system, how it's configured, you have many different options. Main one is normally the mail, or directly inside another app, or using our Jack account. We see later the Jack account. Obviously, other than export to other than share the data, you can import. So take an example. Let's use the file application. Okay, here is, for example, track that we shared. I can decide to share directly inside our app, and our app import it. Okay, and here it is. Okay, now let's move on a different topic. Let's talk about community data. In our app, you can overlay, you can download and overlay a different type of community data. In particular, you can have active captain and waterway guide data. Let's see how it works. Okay, in the settings of this data, you can decide to download the information. Here is already downloaded for speed of the demo. And then you have some options. The first one is to decide how to automatically update the information. You can decide to never do it. You can decide to do only if you have a Wi-Fi, or you can decide to do always. This is a daily update that is done automatically if the app is running. Then you have some setting. You can decide what to display and what not to display on the map of this information, the size of the icon, if you want names or things like this. Oh, let's see what we have now on the map. Here we have the water guide information overlaid on the map. You can tap on one of it and have detailed information, exactly the same that you have on the site. You also have the reviews. You can also enter reviews. And the same obviously apply to active captain information. I already downloaded it, and here now we also have active captain information. And as for waterway guide, you can decide what to show, the size of the icon and things like this. Okay, now let's see how you can search items inside our application. This search button opens the search page. You have two main tabs. The first one is for your user data. You can see them divided by marker, tracks, route, or see all together. Inside this page, you have all your data. For each of one, you can see the detailed information. You can decide to hide or to show one of them, or you can edit all together. So you can select a set of them, and then you can decide to share, to hide, or to show this set, or to delete. This is a quick way to do a bunch of action altogether. You can also order them by name, by distance, or by manipulation date, so the last time you make a change. Keep in mind that the distance is the distance from the center of the screen, so this list depends on where you open this page. The other tab is for searching whatever you want inside our application. So you can search, for example, Miami. And this is all the type of information you can find. So you can find active captain elements, you can find waterway guide, you can find position element, location element, and many other type. You can decide how to filter them. Here's how to filter. You can also decide to have tide and current if tide and current are enabled. You can decide which of these is important for you. In this way, I have only waterway guide information. When I have just one selected, I can have the full list of elements inside, always ordered by distance or by name. When you have by name, you have a quick index here on the side to quickly jump to one of these. And when you find what you need, you can simply tap, and you will be brought exactly where it is on the map. Okay, let's see one important function inside our application, that is the anchor alarm. Anchor alarm is a dedicated setting page where obviously you can enable it. Then you can define where you are, and you can define using the GPS position of your device, or in case you are not exactly on the anchor position, you can define a distance and a bearing. In any case, after you set the anchor, you have other settings, you can decide the alarm radius, so the radius where your bot can move without triggering an alarm, a warning area, that is to highlight when you are near the border, a delay, if you want a track related to the anchor, and then the type of alarm we manage. We manage a distance alarm when your bot goes too far from the anchor position, a low battery, and a bad GPS. These two are to advise you that the system is no more able to do a correct alarm. And then we have some advanced setting. Okay, after we set the anchor, what's happened, and then you have this information. Let's quickly simulate the movement of the bot. You see that until the bot is inside the area, the circle is green, informing you easily that everything is okay. On the top you have okay to inform you that it's going fine. Then you have the distance for when you put the anchor and your current drifting speed. When the bot reach the border of the warning area, this yellow one, the circle will change and will become yellow. So you know that something starts to become a little bit dangerous. And when then the bot goes outside the external one, then it starts to calculate the time for the alarm. Obviously it works also if the application is not in foreground, so even if the application is in background, the alarm will trigger and will advise you that there is a problem with the anchor position. This depends on the delay you gave to the alarm before to start. And as you can see, there is the alarm that informs you that your bot is outside the radius. You can switch off it. And you can also receive a notification if you are far from the bot that the alarm is triggered using the advanced setting. And now let's see a different type of information we can overlay on our application, tide and current. These are available in US and Canada. Here are the information. We have current and tide. For each of these, you can tap on the element and get a detailed page. You can select the day you want to see, you can select if you want your time or the station time, or you can see a textual description of the tide. You have also information directly on the map. You see we have a number and a graph that show the status of the tide and the status of the current. For the current, you see we have a faded current. That means this current is below the water. You can also simulate the behavior or current and tide along the day. So with this button, you have a new view and you can simulate what's happened along the day for tide and current with these changes. Okay? You see that the graph for the tide change if it is increasing or decreasing, and the same change the representation of the current. With this small cyan arrow means if it is increasing or decreasing the intensity of the current. You can change the date, you can select any date in the future, whatever you want. Okay.
Let's now talk about a feature that we recently greatly improved, the mile marker calculator. Mile marker is a way to identify your position along the main inland waterways in the US, something similar to your house number. Now, we added an information on this box you see here. This is the current mile marker for the boat position. This is continually updated meanwhile you are moving along the different waterways. You can also tap on the map and you get the same information you see here, and you can also drag it and you get the same information continuously updated meanwhile you are dragging. But you can also search mile marker. Here, for example, you can enter in this search and check that you have the distance marker properly checked, and then search for any different number. You get here, for example, 4 results for 3 different pieces of the ICW. These 2 are in the same area, and in fact these are 2 different paths along the same area. One is from this side, the other one is from this side. You can also search using the name of the local piece of the waterway. For example, the Indian River. You get here. Here you get the same position. Okay, this is all for the moment. Hi, I'm Claudio Bo and I'm a team member of Aqua. Today I will explain how you can connect your both devices to Aqua application. The first things that you have to do is to create a Wi-Fi connection between your devices and the application. Normally you do this buying a NMEA bridge that will allow to connect the different devices into a single element, and then this element will send through Wi-Fi to the app the needed information. So you enter in the connection page, then you create a new connection with the top right button plus. Now you see already two connections done by me for this test. When you create a new connection, you can select between different existing devices. If you have just taken both the device and installed on the boat, you can simply select one of these options and go on without any problem. You can also eventually change the selected devices, the selected device, or manually enter your information. In this case, you have to select the type of protocol that your device uses. So we support NMEA and the new protocol Signal K. You have to select the type of Wi-Fi protocol, TCP or UDP, and then enter the basic information to connect to your NMEA bridge. That is the IP address and the port number. The last setting, as you can see, is the NMEA checksum. Substantially, if you disable it, the system will accept any type of sentence. If you enable it, the system will accept only the sentences with the checksum, with the correct checksum. Okay, now let's see what you also see with let's take one of the existing connection that I've already done and then enable it. To start a connection, you see display on the bottom part of the page. When you enable it, you see in the status what is happening, and you can also, typing on it, see the log of everything is going through the channel. You see that a new box appeared, that is the transducer offset. This appears only when you receive depth information through your connection. Here you can enter your transducer offset. Now, which type of information do we manage through this Wi-Fi connection? You can receive external GPS information, depth information, heading or compass information, and wind information. In this page, you can select one by one which of these data you want to be managed by your app. And in case you have multiple input for the same type of data, for example, you have two transducers on the boat, then you can also select which of the two has to be used. Okay, now let's see how this data is used inside the app. First of all, the GPS is used to locate your boat, but it's also used for all the other functionality of the app. So for example, the anchor alarm use your external GPS, the track recording we use your external GPS. Everything in the app that use a GPS position, we use your external one. And you can notice that you are using your external GPS because if you see the top left icon, there is this small Wi-Fi symbol, and also on the bottom window there is this external GPS label. The other information used, as we said, are the depth that is in this window. Note that if you in your My Boat you set the draft of your boat
So let's see, for example, here we have 4 feet. If we put a 8 feet draft, you see that now we have this box that become red, and you also have a voice warning about the fact that depth is now dangerous for your boat. Other information that you receive is the wind that is displayed in this box, and then the heading or the compass information that is also displayed in this box. Pay attention that heading is also used to draw the icon boat. So if you look carefully to the icon boat, you can see that the boat icon itself is in the direction of the compass, whereas the heading line, the purple one, is in direction of the GPS movement. Let's now see another type of data that the app is able to manage. I'm talking about the AIS data. Let's activate this data. Let's remove the other one for clarity, and now I activate the AIS information. And let's see the dedicated page to manage this type of information. Here you can enable or disable the collection of the AIS information. You can see the targets list. This is obviously a simulated case, and you can see different type of icon. The triangle icon is a boat that is moving. The round icon is a boat that is not moving. And also the different size of the icon represent a different size of the boat itself. You also have the list of friends. Friends are special AIS target that you market as friends, and they will be recorded by the application and will be always recognized as friends, and also drawn on the map with a different color, the red one. So in this way, you can store in your application, a record in your application, which are the MMSI of your friends, and always recognize them when they are around you. Let's see what you see on the map. You see this new triangle, this new brown triangle. These are the the targets recognized by the AIS, and this round one on the top is one that is not moving. You can see this line on front of them. The system just recognized a possible collision with this one. Now the collision is no more possible. You see that this line has step. This is step that represent 1/10 of the length that you defined for your reading line. We had 10 minutes, so each step in 1 minute. So you know where this boat will be, if the boat will follow this route, will be in the next 1 to 5, 10 minutes. The box on the left, which related to the AIS, will show the most dangerous target for you. So we show the target with the lowest CPA, so the one that you will go nearer in the next 10 minutes. In case you have multiple dangerous targets, it will show the one that you will meet sooner.
Hello, I'm Enrico Valle of the Aqua team, and we will see now the Route Explorer function available with the master of Aqua. The aim of the Route Explorer is to find all the relevant objects that you encounter along your route. For example, in the route that we see in the picture, we can open the route info page of the application, and we will see in the first line the name and the description of the route. In the third line, we have the total distance, the total time, and the fuel required to complete the route. In the bottom section, we have all the waypoints. For each waypoint, we can see the distance and the direction to the next waypoint and the time required to reach it. Starting from the second waypoint, you also have the cumulative distance and cumulative time from the beginning of the trip. In the second line of the user interface, you can see the summary of the Route Explorer finding. In this case, we have 22 hazards, 28 bridge, and 68 marinas and anchorages. You can also see that the system highlights that the type of fuel is gas, and the best price you find in the trip is $2.8. And also the system gives 3 dangerous bridges. These indications depends on the setting that you put in the My Boat section of the setting page. Let's see where it is. You can activate the settings of the system, go to the My Boat, and here you can find the fuel type that can be gas or diesel, the age of the boat, and the beam. Based on this indication, the Route Explorer calculates the dangerous bridge and the type of fuel you require. Going back to the Route Explorer information page, we can select the information icon near to the Route Explorer section and go into the detailed list of found objects. In the top of the page you can see the type of objects selected: marinas, anchorages, hazard, bridges and waypoint. Marinas, anchorages and hazard are selected from the Waterway Guide and Active Captain databases. The bridges instead are searched inside the nautical charts. You can see the list of found objects. Again, you have the waypoints, and then between 2 waypoints you see the objects found in that segment of the route. For each object you have the distance from the beginning of the route and the time from the start of the route. For each object you can also see the detailed information if you select the information icon, and you can have all the data associated to the object. In the filter page you can remove categories of objects that you are not interested in. For example, if you don't want to see the waypoints because you already have this information in the route info page, you can select none in the filter and the waypoint will be removed. Still, you will use the waypoint to identify in which segment the found objects are. You can also notice that using 2 different databases, the Active Captain and the Waterway Guide, you can have duplicated information. If you don't want to have this and you rely, for example, more in Waterway Guide database than in Active Captain database, you can remove the Active Captain from the chart display, because all the searched objects are those present in the chart displayed. We can go back in the setting page, switch off the Active Captain, and here we can see that again, if we go into the Route Explorer information, the Active Captain are no more there. The filtering section in the top of the page can be switched off when not necessary, or switched on if you want to act on the selection. Let us see what happened during the navigation. If we start the navigation of the route, on the left side of the top left side of the screen, you see the standard navigation window with the target waypoint, and on the top the total time to arrival and total distance to arrival and estimated arrival time. In the bottom you can see the distance, the direction and the time to the waypoint, to the target waypoint. The Route Explorer information are those present in the window on the right part. Here we have for each category of the Route Explorer the next object that we will encounter along the route. For each object we have again the distance and the estimated arrival time. tapping on an object, you can go in the map where the object is, or also you can see the detailed information regarding this object. If you tap on the window, you go back to the list of all the objects in the route. You can notice that now the timing information is the estimated arrival time to that point and not the elapsed time from the beginning of the trip. The last important feature that we have to analyze is the possibility to highlight an object. For example, in our list of found objects, we can highlight a lift bridge, and we can highlight a marina. At this point, we can see a new window in the middle of the screen that presents the highlighted object, the next highlighted object, its distance, and the estimated arrival time at that point. This is very important because you can, for example, monitor constantly when you will reach a lift bridge that opens only at certain hours, or for example, you can monitor when you will reach a marina where you have an appointment. Tapping on the icon in this new window, you can also remove the highlighted object and you will see the next highlighted object. I want still to go in the application setting page and show the settings that are related to the Route Explorer. In the Route Explorer setting page, you can decide to show or not the Route Explorer navigation window, switching on or off this button. And you can also decide the ranges for the operation of searching the object depending on the kind of object you are looking for. Thank you for your attention. I hope you will enjoy the route navigation with Route Explorer, and I apologize for my English, of course. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Hi, let's talk about the US Army Corps of Engineers survey now. We talked with several customers, and we discovered that in the United States there is a big traffic of vessels along the waterways, inland waterways, and especially in the Atlantic intracoastal waterways. This let us thought about the quality of the cartography we had in those areas. And if we check the NOAA charts, it's quite evident that the level of detail is non-existent. Very old survey and without any depth information almost at all. And some years ago, NOAA also decided to remove the magenta line because it was unreliable and so dangerous for the navigation. The US Army Corps of Engineers is in charge of the maintenance of about 25,000-mile channels in the United States, as well as 400 ports and harbors. And they have created a database of about 65,000 surveys along the all waterways in the United States. So we decided to use that database and create a new product that is a new overlay of bathymetry to improve the quality of the information into these important waterways. Let's see. We know that along the Atlantic intracoastal waterway there are several spots with dangerous shoaling, like, for example, Browns Inlet, Lockwood Folly, Dow River, just to name some of them. Let's see what happened, for example, in the Lockwood Folly. As you can see here, according to the NOAA chart, we should have some dredged areas and some navigation line suggesting us to go straight in this position. Even if, as you can see, we have several hazard point from waterway guides and active captain highlighting a problem in this area, a shoaling problem. Let's switch on now the US Army Corps of Engineers data. You immediately see there is a big shoaling growing north in this position. And if we used the NOAA chart, we were certainly touch the bottom here. US Army Corps of Engineers survey have been drawn with the very bright colors to highlight the dangerous part in red to the boaters, and then green where you have a better situation, up to the blue where you have a safe navigation. Let's check the setting page for the US Army Corps of Engineers surveys. You can switch on off them. You can select the maximum age of the data you want to display. You can have all the 65,000 survey on the screen, or only the last 3 years, or only the last 1.5 years, or select the number of months to set the age of your data. Meanwhile, you can also decide to fade or not the older survey. As you can see here, the older survey are faded while the newer are bright colors. US Army Corps of Engineers is weekly updated, and you can find detailed information about the date of the survey. For example, here in Lockwood Folly, the central canal is of 24 August, while the newer survey just above is the 8th of September. As you can see, in few days the shoaling has been moved of about 30 feet. This was the August survey, and this is 50 feet in just a few days, a couple of weeks. Also, Robert Shearer, our friend Bob423, is using our US Army Corps of Engineers survey overlay to plan the best route to navigate the Atlantic Intracoastal Waterway. Let's profit of this area to introduce the last of the 5 items we have in the Aqua Map Master, the US Coast Guard list of lights and local notice to mariners. As we can see here, the NOAA buoy in this area, the 47A, is placed in a position that is quite old because of the shoaling. NOAA in general in the Intracoastal Waterway do not update very frequently the charts, and do not reflect the latest change in the buoyage system. For this reason, we decided to implement the US Coast Guard list of lights and local notice to mariner. The list of light is a database of about 50,000 buoy and lights with detailed information and frequently, weekly and daily updated by the US Coast Guard to reflect the real situation on the field. Let's try. Let's switch on then. Now you can see that a new buoy appeared on top of the old one with a small US Coast Guard flag at the bottom of the icon. This is the US Coast Guard list of light data. The new buoy is in the proper position according to the shoaling. Maybe should be a little more north due to the last movement of the shoal. But there are several feet, 150 feet difference between the NOAA buoy and the US Coast Guard buoy. Let's see the setting page of the US Coast Guard. We can hide and show them on the screen. We can update manually the database just pressing the Update Now button. We can define how to update the data daily, if you want to never update daily automatically, or only when you have Wi-Fi, or always. You can set up the size of the icon on the screen, and you can decide if you want to also simultaneously show the NOAA buoy normally, or faded, or hide them. Now you see this NOAA buoy is faded. Whenever you will see such a symbol on the left side of a US Coast Guard buoy icon, it means you have a local notice to mariner affecting that buoy. This kind of symbol, an X, means the nav aid is missing. There are other symbols like this. This, for example, is an off position, off station symbol, and there are other 3 or 4 to quickly explain the kind of notice to mariner applied to those objects. But the local notice to mariner are not only for nav aids. They are applicable also to larger areas. You just have to tap on the map, and then you will get the icon. Press on the right icon to access the area local notice to mariners. You get a page with general notice to mariners, advanced notice, shoaling information, and dredging. And sometimes you can also have the 5th tab with the event are going to happen shortly in that area. Local notice to mariner as well as the list of light are updated weekly, and we also update the list of light daily with the most important changes published by the U.S. Coast Guard district. Bye. Okay, thank you very much for your time. We appreciate the people stay with us for almost 1 hour watching this long video. We agree it's a long description and overview, and we would like to organize in the next weeks some detailed webinars of few minutes, let's say 10 to 15 minutes, one for each function. So in the next days, we will make a poll to ask what are the favorite arguments, the favorite subjects to discuss in the next webinars. I want to thank you, all of you. We see there are no questions almost. We already answered in the comments. I confirm we will publish the video in our YouTube channel as well as in this Facebook page, the Aquamap Facebook page. Just one last point. I want to inform you that the next week we will deliver a new functionality that our testers are using almost since 1 month now. And it's called live sharing. The live sharing functionality will enable all the Aquamap people using Aquamap to share their position with the others and get some information in real time from the other Aquamap user. All those will join the Aquamap community. So thank you again for your passion, and hope to see you soon again. Bye-bye.
Bye.